Well, after initially standing up to mask mandates, the Alpine School District has reversed its decision and will now enforce the state mandate requiring students and staff to wear masks in school. Joining us now to talk more about this is the founder of the organization Let Them Breathe, Sharon McKeeman. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So what were your thoughts upon learning that the superintendent is now saying he's going to comply with the state requirement after saying personally he believes in mask choice?
Well, we know that Alpine, they still believe in mask choice and they're still standing with parents. However, we've known all along that the school districts are in this awful catch-22 that the state has put them in, where they're saying they have to enforce, but there's no really good ways to enforce. Most of the enforcement measures that they could put in place, like suspension or expulsion, could actually run afoul of California's own education code or what our kids have a right to under the California. Necessarily asking them not to enforce, we're asking them to stand with us in advocating to the state. And ultimately, that's why we have filed the lawsuit, because we don't want school districts to be in this uncomfortable position. We want them to have local control, and that's why the mask mandate needs to end.
And I recall when the state said that students and staff have to wear masks in school, but we're going to let the school district decide how to enforce it. It seems like, well, they could kind of do almost anything or nothing. Is it now sounding like maybe they are going to have to be more strict in how they enforce it?
Well, unfortunately, we were hearing that there was a lot of intimidation and threats going on behind the scenes to school districts. And then on Monday, CDPH put out basically this legal threat letter, which is just way outside the bounds of what they should be doing. If they're putting forward some health guidance or suggestions, that's one thing. But they went on this multi-page kind of tirade on threatening school boards and even teachers, and then actually calling on them to reach out to specific legal counsel that they're going to be equipping with kind of this. They put forward a very unscientific, not legally sound, enforce something that's not legally sound or scientific. And it's going to come down to a judge ruling on that. And we are confident that the judge is going to rule in our favor, give that temporary restraining order saying that these things aren't enforceable. But in the meantime, we do understand school boards are in a difficult position.
We hear more about this Delta variant. We hear that hospitals are becoming more and more crowded with unvaccinated people. We understand that this specific move might have come after 24 students had to be quarantined because of those 2 COVID-19 cases. What do you tell parents who say, you know, this Delta variant?
We're seeing that our children are not at super heightened risk from the Delta variant. There is the vaccine available to adults. And so at Let Them Breathe, we are continuing to stand for choice. Our lawsuit also covers the over-quarantining. So some of these issues with quarantining, we believe, are actually from over-quarantining. And our legal team is hard at work. We've promised resources to school districts and parents this week. And so now, actually, those are going to turn into an actual legal letter that is a response to CDP lawsuit will hopefully do.
Has there been any kind of a compromise discussed where maybe the students and the parents who want to wear masks all go in a certain area or on a certain day, and those that don't want to wear the masks go somewhere else, and maybe there's some way to have everybody live the way they want to live?
Well, I have heard it brought up, the option of those who are concerned and want extra protective measures for them to be able to continue on distance learning and let those who want to, you know, have some more freedom and choice to be at school. But personally, Let Them Breathe, we are for choice, but we are also for kids' right to an in-person education. And so we are going to continue to advocate. I was part of the school reopening movement. I don't want to see medical segregation in place. I want to see kids in their classrooms. And we know these school districts, they worked hard on air filtration and spreading out desks. And as we know, the adults have that option to vaccinate if they want to. And so there are a lot of precautions in place. And I'm hoping that our educational communities can be a place where we are unified, where kids are in person, and there's nothing divisive going on.
Sharon McKeeman with Let Them Breathe. Sharon, thanks for taking some time. Please let us know what happens with that lawsuit. It seems like it's very interesting that you filed it quite a while ago and there's still no hearing date. So we appreciate the time.
But thankfully, in the terms of lawsuits, it is still moving quickly. And we'll be putting out that letter to Let Them Breathe.
So still to come.